Hello, everyone. Thanks for turning in to the Nerd Buffet podcast. My name is Tommy.
I'm Seth.
And I'm Jake. I'm glad to have you back with us. It feels like this week took forever.
It's been a long week.
Not just with work, but this week went by very, very slowly. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep with
Long week.
with the super fun Tuesday night. Well, Monday night, I guess I should say.
Yeah, a lot of time spent in participation and playing with this little guy.
Oh my God! And I have one too. We're 2 of the 10 people in Planet Earth
2 of the 10 people
that have one.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about.
How is it? I don't get open mind till Christmas.
It's right here, Tom. Just open it. Is Tony here?
No.
I won't tell if you don't tell. We can open it.
I can wait.
Yeah,
I have these games, most of these games already, so if I wanted to, I could play them, but it's...
And that's what I said on Monday when I was like all day. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get one. I'm like, but thinking about it positively, I'm one of the people that aren't going to be like affected terribly if I don't get one right away, because I actually still have a lot of my games. And
Where'd you buy yours from?
Walmart in Centerville.
Walmart.
There were 6.
I was gonna say, what's with them putting so few out? Because I heard that like the most Targets and Walmart sold out like that.
I had thought that because Centerville's a smaller town, that's the reason they only got 6. It turns out that all the Walmarts in our area only got 6.
Yeah.
Why?
And that's Des Moines, Oskaloosa, Ottumwa, all of those only got
Yeah.
6. It's just Nintendo made from all intents and purposes, artificial shortage. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no reason they couldn't take pre-orders on the thing and know how many to make.
Doesn't
And
make sense to me.
that's a lot of people complaining about. I don't know why Nintendo did it this way. It's just the way they've always done things.
We've got that to talk about today. That's going to take up a pretty big portion because and we're going to do a separate video too where we do kind of a review. We're also going to do a video. Video will be comparing.
I ordered another similar console called the Retro Bit Generations, and it's made by the people who make the Retron 5 and all those clone systems and stuff. And they made one that has 90 games, and it's not confined to one system. It's just got...
So I think here on the podcast, since I've busted mine open and played all the games, and I mean you've played the games, I'm sure you've played most of the games before, but I'm the only one I think out of 3 of us who's actually played the thing. So I mean I'll give my first impressions, but we'll get an in-depth review, hands-on thing up later. We have some wrestling news to talk about. The Undertaker's coming back this Tuesday, so that'll be a SmackDown not to miss.
Sin Cara's a bully.
Sin Cara's a bully.
We'll get to that. And maybe a little bit.
I know what you're talking
A
about.
little bit of Survivor
what?
Series.
And then in movie news, we did see Hacksaw Ridge.
Yep.
And there was an international trailer for Star Wars that not a lot of people saw.
That I actually just saw right before we started recording this, and I'm just excited to talk about what I just saw.
Yes.
So yeah, let's get to it. Talk about the things.
Sweet.
So I just like to say, I got one of these, and you probably didn't. So that's how we're going to start this.
Actually, pull that back up here. That's it. So I will say, we're not going to open it up because we're not allowed to open this one up. When we do the review, though, I'll bring mine so that Tanya will be happy that this is still closed.
Well, when we do the review, we'll open it up, show everything that comes in the box for both the NES Classic and the Retro Bit.
Fair enough. Okay. I just by looking at the back of this, there are some awesome games on this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and it doesn't show all. Well, I guess listed here it shows all 30, but they did not miss any good games. I mean, they missed some good games.
There are a few they probably can't get licensing for.
But there are
Mega Man
great
2
games.
is on there,
Right.
which is probably the best Mega Man game. So they had to pick from certain.
Just like Double
franchises.
Dragon 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The first one wasn't as good as the second one.
Second one's the best one. Third one's garbage.
I've never played the third one, to be honest with you.
So yeah, they kind of had to pick what they wanted.
But they got the ones you'd expect that you would need to have.
There are a few that I'm like, why? What did they put that one on there for? I don't know why there's 2 Castlevania games. I feel like there should be. Instead of just put on Castlevania 1.
First Castlevania is great. The
Yeah.
second one is very polarizing
Right.
in the video game community. Some people love
I'm
that
one of
game.
the negatives.
Yeah, so I don't like that
I
one.
bought it and I was like, this isn't as good as what people told me.
Yeah, I don't like the
And
second
that's the first one I ever played. There are some really weird choices here and there, but I mean, nothing's bad. I never had Balloon Fight or played Balloon Fight, but
Balloon Fight is awesome.
I played Joust all the time when I was a kid,
Same.
and you always were like, play Balloon Fight instead.
Yeah.
Now that I have a version of Balloon Fight to play, I'm like, why have I wasted my time with Joust my whole life?
Yeah. So how is the like the quality of the video?
It's fantastic. When you turn a game on, it comes into 4:3 aspect ratio. There's also CRTV mode to where
Which adds artificial scan lines.
Yeah.
and stuff.
I don't care for that because like
I'm not a big fan of that.
I more and more the more I don't even want to say it's because I'm getting more pretentious with like my nerdiness. It's more like, oh, I have money now of my own, so now I want to buy the nicest
the
thing.
best thing you can. Yeah.
So it's like, I don't care to see it the way it looked before. I want to see this the best way as possible.
Yeah.
So they have what's called pixel perfect mode, where the pixels are the values in which they should be on your screen. And it looks like, it's like, hey, I'm playing Mario 1 in HD, and it looks good.
Does that cut in the sides and the top a little bit then?
Well, even 4:3 does.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to stretch all the way to a widescreen TV. So I mean, even that's kind of like is that letterbox? No, letterbox is the
top
side.
and bottom.
But it's like the equivalent of letterbox on the sides, but it even goes smaller because it's a perfect box because the
Right.
pixels are all the same size.
Which is to be expected. I mean, from what I understand, the pixel perfect mode is the way to play this thing.
Absolutely it is. Yeah. I played the first level I got to. If you know Super Mario Brothers 1, you know the level very well. There's like that pyramid of like power. There's like coin, and then like a flower up there. I got to that part. I paused it and I like messaged everyone. I was like, "Pixel perfect mode is the most beautiful thing I've seen in my life."
I was still at Walmart when I got that text from you.
Yeah, I
You ran home.
I felt like Charlie from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with the golden ticket. And it's like, you've got the last one. You've got the last NES Classic Edition. Run home, Charlie. Run home as fast as you can.
Speaking of the last one, was there anything else you wanted to mention about it before we go into talk about scarcity?
The UI is fantastic. That's my favorite part. I mean, besides the games themselves.
It's got awesome music playing when you're
It plays
selecting the
really
game and stuff.
cool original music. Nintendo's always been good about that. But it looks and feels like the quality of a Nintendo product. You know what I mean? They put more time into their stuff usually. And it looks and feels like something they didn't scamp on. It's just, I put this in, I turn it on, and I feel like I'm at home, and I know exactly, no matter how old I am, that I know how to get in and out of each game.
Yeah.
So they did good with that.
What's your biggest gripe?
The controller length.
That's what I figured this was going.
That's going to be everyone in the world's biggest gripe. Your kids will complain to you on Christmas Day if you get one of these that the controller length is short.
Because it's how long?
2.5 feet.
Yes.
So my gut is 2.5 feet itself. So when I sit, I play like this. I've got it like right here, the controller, and the NES like Classic system sits down at almost at knee level on a popcorn tin. That's sitting in
What a gaming setup you got.
Yeah, I know,
If
right?
your cat knocks over your TV, you're dead.
Yeah, they have actually once because they were like scampering around and one of them knocked it over. And I mean, the smallest bump on that NES. It's durable, but the smallest bump set the controller and everything out of my hands because it is so short and it's just yeah.
I understand there are third-party controller extensions you can buy. Nintendo hasn't made anything official. And then there are also third-party wireless controllers.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I guess I would suggest if you can't have the system next to you and have that 2.5 feet, you said, 30 inches or something like that. I would suggest either trying to find one of those extenders or getting like a longer HDMI cord. Having a longer HDMI cord from the TV so you can run the thing next to you would be probably perfect because you got to hit reset.
I get where they were thinking that is because you have to hit reset to go back to the main menu. They don't add an extra button, like menu button on the controller. That would have been the way to fix it. And ideally,
just have a
reset. Giving me a wireless controller that feels the exact same way, but if you're looking at an NES controller in your hand, you've got a start button in the middle. Right next to it, you've got the select. In the middle, very middle of those, on top of it,
even
put
on
a menu
top.
button. Oh, even on top,
like a trigger.
Not a trigger, but like a little red button or something.
Yeah, I know, but I mean like on top.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's the gripe that I have in it, and
that's the gripe of a lot of people.
Yeah, that's the gripe you'll have when you get one, and there's no looking back on it. I mean, everyone's gonna have that gripe no matter what. It's just I don't know if it was an oversight or what it was, but I mean, I still say for $60, it is a controller and it does work very well. It doesn't like hurt your finger like the old one did. Do you remember like?
I watched I'll just watch the breakdown of it before we came to talk about this.
Oh, the controller.
And the controller, it looks like it's built from almost the exact same components from before. There is a chip on the board inside of the controller, and I don't know what that does, but the original doesn't have that. So probably because it's digital signal instead of analog now. But
I think that I think definitely if somebody could put one out, like a controller out that's $10-$20, I would definitely buy it for this because this is a great machine for $60 total. A controller, the system, HDMI looks beautiful. Has a micro USB power output. Fantastic little setup. Nintendo's gotten better and better, saying that it's not going to overheat. It's a micro. They've gotten better and better with power management, and I think that might be kind of going back to the Nintendo Switch. Something I've been wondering and playing through my head. They talked a lot about when the Wii was out how little power the Wii used. The Wii U, same thing. It uses a little bit of power. Maybe this is going to pay off with the Switch that we talked about last week with the battery life when it's not docked in.
Yeah. So, speaking of complaints,
let's talk about why
about it.
I don't have one.
Yeah. One of the biggest things, if you go on Amazon right now, the Nintendo Classic Edition has 1.5 stars on Amazon right now. And those complaints aren't coming from the quality of the system. Those complaints are coming from people who don't have one and are complaining about the scarcity.
I only have one, so I'm going to give them. That's not right.
Yeah.
It's not right. It's like me going. It's like you guys going to a movie. There was only one seat left, and Tom got it, right?
Yeah.
And guys, that movie was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like about the movie was the seat wasn't very comfortable that I sat in. But the movie itself, it was fantastic. But Seth and I go on, and we're reviewers, and we say this movie gets 1.5 stars out of 5. That's baloney.
Yeah.
That's not right.
So, a lot of the scarcity, there still hasn't been any word from Nintendo why has been so scarce. Just kind of the way we've gone back, and we've said it before on the show, Nintendo must hate money because
they don't need it.
Yeah, that's true. You'd think they would, though, with the way sales are with their...
But they still make actual money with their amiibos, and they're going to make money with this. Well, why not make more money, Nintendo?
The thing is, I don't know, they could have made a bunch of money by putting more of these out. And like I said, we said before, if they ever wanted to make a 3D Pokemon game on a home system, all of the money would be theirs. So I don't know if they just don't have the capabilities of doing these things, we need to tell you. Triple H, get a hold of Nintendo and tell them.
Give
about
them
these
some
things.
WWE money.
You would
partner up with them.
You would think they have the capabilities, though. I don't know. I don't see that. I mean, I don't know. Even if it was like, hey, we're just testing this out. We're only going to release like 6 per store in an area. Like, I don't understand why. Okay, hey, it's almost Christmas, and we haven't heard word that. Oh yeah, that worked out really well. Here's like 1 million more.
Yeah.
You know, it just doesn't make sense.
They could have very easily took pre-orders, and it would have fixed the whole situation.
Yeah. At least, if not just having the proper stock available.
Before we move on, though, speaking of It's Almost Christmas, next week we have a very special show coming. I'm actually really excited about doing it. We're going to do a holiday gift guide, right? We kind of mentioned, did we mention that last week?
We did mention it
Briefly.
last time. I said we could do it this week, but I'd rather do it after we get after I get that Generations thing in and we have a little bit more time to research.
The Walmart ad is out, and other stores are starting to drop in their ads. Best Buy is. I've planned on just going to Walmart, so I think more than anything, we're going to give you prices from there. But we're not going to research too far into the prices. We'll try to get you the best deal that you can get.
If you want to fight the crowds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we're definitely going to let you know what to get, and what your kids and what your boyfriends that are our age will definitely like. I mean, this isn't just for men, and games are for girls too. There are a lot of freaking good games that came out this season. So, and even once we'll even hit back on if there's deals on stuff that came out a year or two ago. I'd be willing to talk about that because I've seen some that I'm like, hey, this is definitely to get.
Yeah, I know for sure. Just off the top of my head, I saw Far Cry Primal.
Yeah.
It was going to be on sale. That's one I really wanted to get when it came out. I never did for whatever reason. You know, I had different games or whatever. And then we're both talking about getting Titanfall 2, which is a fairly recent game. But again, we haven't picked it up. So.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about those things, and hope you guys tune in. I'm definitely going to be, we're going to be the smartest people in this topic. So don't listen to anybody else.
As far as I know, we're going to be, from what I've seen, probably one of the first people to compare these two things that since they've been out.
Oh,
There is an app that does this, but what we're going to do is going to be better than the app. And if you listen to what we have and have the app, you'll be the best shopper of the year.
Right. You'll be the best parent of the year.
Just make your kids love you.
Yeah.
More than they probably don't.
Because unlike the Grinch movie that I watched last night, maybe Christmas was about much more. No, it comes from the store.
What's that? Sean Connery?
No, seriously. Like if you watch
3 times that day.
if you watch that movie, that's how Jim Carrey talks.
He has moments, I agree.
Especially on that part.
You just sounded that much more like Sean.
We should have kind of like we had the Halloween movie day. We should have a Christmas movie day soon.
It'd be good because Die Hard, Lethal Weapon.
Yes.
Die Hard.
Yes.
Lethal Weapon isn't a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Die Hard and Star Wars.
We can add Lethal Weapon on. I have no problem about that. But Die Hard 1 and 2 are both Christmas movies. I will give you that. But The Grinch, I'll watch The Grinch again. I just watched it last night. And I'll watch it again. That's a great movie.
Can we no creepy puppets movies?
Creepy puppets.
The creepy movies like the Rudolph.
Oh, you don't like those? Stop motion classics?
You know, I hated when I was a kid, before we end this segment, I got to get this in here. I hated the Rudolph movie because of the freaking Abominable Snowman.
The Abominable
Snowman.
Bumbles?
Shut up.
Bumbles?
Is that his name?
Yeah.
I hated him. The part when he's like, somebody dies in that movie, right?
No.
So he eats somebody.
No.
When I was a kid, though, you know when you put parts of movies into things that you're scared of?
It was Star Wars for 5 seconds.
Again, in Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope, someone gets pulled down by the thing in the squish room and dies.
No.
Like, in my head, when I was a kid, someone died in that part. That was a scary scene, for real. No, but the part when, like, the iceberg comes apart It's like Rudolph and the elf. When I was a kid, there was another elf that got a hate on that part. I don't know why, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
No one died in Rudolph.
I thought somebody died when I was a kid. So.
I often feel like they edit shows from when I was a kid to make them better for kids now, but I think I have the same problem.
You heard about the alternate reality, like Bernstein Bears and Bernstein Bears?
Yeah,
thing?
I showed you that, didn't I?
Yeah.
That's a whole
scary.
other podcast, though.
Bernstein.
Bernstein and Bernstein. Bernstein.
It's the same thing.
Beware, I hunger.
Hacksaw
Ridge,
Ridge
yeah.
was good and bad,
So you said.
in my
was,
opinion.
For me, the whole movie was meh.
It just
meh.
kind of meh.
Yeah.
That's a fair assessment.
I was disappointed. I mean,
Overall.
not really disappointed because I went into this movie not knowing anything.
Okay.
I didn't see a trailer. All I knew anything about it was from what you guys said.
Spider-Man was in it. That's all you knew.
Yeah, and
Not Spider-Man.
and it was
Spider-Man.
directed by
Fake
Mel
Spider-Man.
Gibson.
Yeah.
So those are the only things I knew going into the movie. And
So Tom was like predisposed to being like, well, Andrew Garfield's in it and he was terrible, but also Mel Gibson made it, so he's fantastic. So we can have a terrible or a fantastic movie. And so for you, it kind of just meshed together to meh.
and we got both. Yeah.
Yeah. The first half was the Andrew Garfield movie. I turned to you at one point, Tom, and I asked you a question about his character. What was it I said? Don't hold it back. Don't make it sound nice. What'd I say?
You said, "Is he retarded?"
Yes.
Is what you said.
In the beginning of the movie, he's like, I'm not ever gonna kill anybody because he almost kills his brother. He gets a rock.
I
And he hits him in
maintain.
the hold on. He gets a rock. Him and his brother are fighting, and he hits him in the head. And the narrative is he's like, I just about killed my brother. I can't ever use something to kill another human being. And I went back after this and I looked into it. You looked up, was there a ghost or something? I went back and I made sure he's the one that struck the other one. And I was like, that makes sense for that narrative. But then when I started thinking about it, what you said also makes sense.
Yeah.
To
I maintain. To this day, I don't care what anything else says. He's the one that got hit with that brick. I don't think they call either one of those boys by their names.
Oh, so the way they show it leaves it open a little bit.
No, I'm
No?
sure they did. I just
Okay.
wasn't paying attention. But
yeah, he's the hitter, not the hitty. But,
Okay.
But Tom explains his retardation through being hit in the head
Yeah,
with a rock
I-
at a young age. And
I think he's the one
he's
who got
got
hit.
something wrong with him through the movie.
Well, where are they from? Georgia? Somewhere down south?
I don't know, South.
Atlanta?
Easy.
That's Georgia.
Greenbow, Alabama. I'll just say that. Like
They're from
sports.
somewhere down south, so and they're in a small town. The boy didn't get much learning.
Yeah. And he's always socially awkward too. Like when the girl, he likes the girl, and he's just like,
You sure that's not just Andrew Garfield though? Because he was like that in
No.
every movie I've seen.
No.
They played it up big to be that way.
Well, now I know why he was cast.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, when it gets to the very end, like after everything, it shows the regular guy talking, and I was like, I'm glad Andrew Garfield played that character the way he did, because if he sounded exactly like the guy, I would have left the movie because he sounded more retarded.
Well,
Like,
after war, like
Fair
injuries.
enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Being
But-
old and being injured.
Yeah. I'm not meaning to be hateful or offensive to anybody in saying this, but like I really had that question. When
He
we
did.
watched
He did have a speech thing going on.
Yeah.
But and the way he acted made you believe that he wasn't all there.
It's not so like some sort of social disorder or
and
something.
that leads into when he joined into the army. People didn't think he was serious and thought he was crazy
Right.
and maybe touched.
Well, even back
Yeah.
then, they wouldn't have really cared too much if a person was.
Yeah, here,
no,
throw
not-
a body into
not at
the
all.
Yeah, it's like
cannon
I don't
fodder.
care if you're mentally
Yeah.
handicapped or not.
But he had this huge devotion to God and to be a pacifist, to never raise a weapon towards another human being.
Right.
And then he goes and joins the army.
Yeah.
So that led a lot of people to question his sanity and his intelligence.
Did he get drafted or did he want?
Joined.
He wanted to because he wanted to save people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Everyone else was joining, and it was the thing to do.
Yeah.
He felt duty to serve, but he didn't want to hurt anyone.
Because he's like, people killed himself. He said 2 boys that he knew killed themselves because they couldn't go.
They weren't fit to go.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm fit to do it. So
It was World War II, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was borderline draft anyway. So.
Well,
The draft wasn't happening yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pearl Harbor had just happened, and people were gung-ho to join.
So there's, like I said, I'm not quite as meh as Tom was on it. I kind of split it up in my head into like 2 different narratives in the movie. Like there's one narrative of him trying to get into the army, and then there's another narrative of like after that, just the war story, I guess.
When they get to Japan.
Because they could have made 2 movies about, like, they could have made that one movie and just had here's the text of what happened while he's in war. Or they could have done it the other way around.
I see.
But I hated the first narrative, to be honest with you. It was really, really, melodramatic, I think is the best way of putting it for me. The only thing out of all the melodrama that I did like was Hugo Weaving's character. I had heard a lot of good stuff, good buzz about him in this movie, and plus I hadn't seen him in forever. But he did a really good job of being not falling too far into the I'm a drunk war vet and I'm mad at everyone. Like that was his character. But
he also had a different side to him.
Right.
Like it showed why he is that way. He lost all of his friends.
It's believable.
In World War One, and lost all of his friends over there. And when both his sons decide that they want to be,
his brother decides first, and he comes in. He doesn't tell his parents. He just comes to the dinner table with his uniform on, and his dad just starts bawling. He's like, my best friend. He's like, you look really good in that. It makes you look really studly. He's like, my best friend looked really good too. It's like, I picked the pieces of him up off the ground. He's like,
hopefully when you get shot through the front and not the back, because when he got shot through the back, the front of his
it didn't look as pretty.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And so he made it like he was. It was very uncomfortable when he talked, but he also made it not like. Again, like I'm the war victim, and I'm it was more like he's a real person telling me this and trying to be like, don't go to war, kid.
The thing I took from this movie is that war is hell. I mean, you get that from any war movie, but in this movie, almost more so because you see his father was affected by it. He gets affected by it before he even gets to the war.
Depth.
He gets the hell beat out of him.
Yeah, before he even gets into the war, he's in the training boot camp.
They figure out because they're like they start like not feeding him and doing these little things to just mess with him to get him to touch his gun, and he won't do it. And then the way they figure out is they're like, oh, if you're not going to do it, then the rest of your platoon, they're not allowed to go on furlough. They're not allowed to see their family or talk to anybody. They're not allowed to have messages. So they start beating the shit out of him in the middle of the night, and so. They keep saying, we're gonna kick you out. You've got to quit. And he's like, do you want to rat out the person that did this to you? He's like, of course not. Puts his gear back on. I thought
he's like, I didn't get beat up.
Yeah.
Who said I got beat up?
Yeah. He gets court-martialed, and then his dad comes in, and even though his dad hated him for doing that, his dad went and talked to like a colonel or something.
His colonel.
Yeah, his own colonel.
And
and basically got his colonel to write him, hey, the law says he doesn't have to touch a gun, straight from the colonel's orders. And so when this note got delivered to the court-martial, it's like, colonel said this, we're done.
Yeah.
Case dismissed. They let him go to war.
So you can see how his dad still loves his son.
Yeah.
But he's just been so messed up from the war.
That was my favorite thing in the entire movie, the relationship between the dad and the son, which brings me down a full star grade in my head that after the war part of the movie, we didn't see Hugo Weaving's character. Do you
After
remember
that part of the movie?
Yeah, that was the last time you see him or hear about him. I think maybe there's a text box or something about him at the end.
I don't remember seeing that.
But that was really disappointing because I cared about that more than I cared about his love interest in the movie.
Gotcha.
Because he had suffered in war before, and I wanted to see what he said. Maybe he died. I don't know.
I don't know. He knew what his son was signing himself up for, and he didn't want that for him. Especially and this is true today, as technology advances and weaponry advances, war gets scarier. Mm-hmm. And this was before the atomic bomb even, so that wasn't even a threat. But there are flamethrowers, and I know that was in World War I too.
Yeah.
But they're more wide used. You know, they were using
seeing that stuff too, and that I'm going to argue that this is some of the best war movie scenery that we've ever seen.
I'm not saying the cinematography was bad, but I didn't care for the story.
Yeah, it's some of those battle scenes are just like stop. Like, can you stop for a second and let's go back to a story or something? And I want to stop seeing all these people get mutilated because I mean, you're seeing people burned alive and blowing themselves. It was rated R. I mean, it was a hard R from the violence. I don't remember very much swearing and cussing in the first half of the movie. You know, it wasn't an R movie until
Vaughn's, Joe Sargent did some.
Fair enough.
But no one else really sweared.
It wasn't a hard R until it gets to the war, and then it was hard R. But the Hacksaw Ridge, just to kind of finish it up. The second movie of the movie, I guess, I keep saying it. They go to this ridge. I don't know how tall it is. They just got this net up to climb up, in which I'm like, well, that's the part of the war where I'm like, sorry guys, I'm staying down here. I'll cover you. But they climb up and they're just trying to take this ridge basically, and they gain a little bit of ground and then. They don't, and they all fall back.
The reason that the soldiers have come to calling it Hacksaw Ridge is because they just chews you up and spit you back down the hill. Yeah. You know. And
so when everyone falls back, he actually stays there. Donnie, is that his name?
I don't even remember his
name. Not Donnie Donowitz. Don't get me wrong.
No, but
main character.
They were up there for a day.
Yeah, he's there
all night.
Right,
and the whole company is, and then they pull out.
And he stays there overnight
again.
While they're gone, trying to find people that are wounded. Mm-hmm. And that's the part where, like, I'm like, okay, my heart, like, because he even says it at the end of the movie. This is, like, what he says, as he's like, he would get to the ridge, and he'd tie somebody up and, like, lower him down, and then bring the rope back up and go find somebody else. And every time he's lowering the thing, he said, God, please let me find one more. Please, God, let me find one more person.
Just one more. And every time he comes back, he's more and more,
tired. His hands torn up from
the rope, and
he ends up making it out. I think he gets like shot in the leg. No, grenades get thrown at him, and he bats them away, and he gets like some shrapnel, and they take him out, and he's fine. He lives. Obviously, like we said, he talks about it. Shows him like the most. Before he died, present day.
What'd they say? He saved like
75 people. Wow. Only man in American history to not touch his weapon to get the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Be a conscientious objector.
So it was based on a true story.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, as an American hero, I will give him credit. That's a freaking awesome story. However, the movie, the first half of the movie killed the rating for me. So I'm going to give it I'm going to go 2.5. I think that's fair.
I agree with you. His story deserves to be heard.
Yeah.
I don't think this movie's the best way to hear it.
Yeah.
If there's a book out to read it or something, but I'm going to give the movie, solely the movie, 2.
Two. Just kind of going back before we go on to the next thing, I really think this shows again that Mel Gibson is a great director. He can do good things. He gets a lot of crap for you're supposed to blow me before the fucking jacuzzi, But
his personal life aside,
right? He has a heart. This dude has a heart to put this on the screen.
For sure.
Yeah. Some of the best. Again, if if this would have just been the war section of the movie and that story would have interplayed in there and we would have done flashbacks and not had it the layout that it was, I think this movie goes up a big deal for me.
You could have done flashbacks. That's a good point. That's
a good idea.
I wasn't thinking about. I'm like, I don't know how you tell the story and also have the war.
Yeah.
So it's kind of almost an Act 1, Act 2 type of thing.
And there really was an Act 3. It was like it ends here, and then this is what happened.
Gotcha. Yeah. A lot of times I feel like, especially this time of year, there's a lot of like Oscar movies, and over half of them quickly fall flat by the time you get to the actual Oscars, and a lot of them will stick. And so, where do you think this landed on the dartboard?
I think that Hugo Weaving gets maybe a nomination for supporting and doesn't win.
Yeah, if
he gets one.
If any nominations happen, I agree with you on that. And the director of cinematography may get it up. They're not going to win anything.
It was like a $40 million movie, so pretty like lower end budget for what it was, especially for the battle scenes that we saw. That's cheap.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't think it's going to get any Oscar victories, but it may surprise us with a few nominations.
Yeah.
Tommy wins.
I didn't know it was a contest. Otherwise, I would have tried.
Everything's a contest.
Yeah.
And Jake's still the champion, right?
Still am the champion.
Hanging on the wall.
Still am.
It is complete.
Oh,
Don't die.
My.
He about died while he's over there.
About died. So is this the first unveiling?
Yeah, no one's seen it.
No one's seen it.
Hopefully it doesn't fall apart over here.
Seems like it's probably on there. Pretty decent. This is
So
it.
this is the title.
Hold it up proud.
That's the first version 1 of the
Version 1.
the Nerd Buffet Championship.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be wrestling last week.
We had a technical difficulties again.
We'll just put over.
But we talked about Survivor Series mostly.
The big thing we talked about was Undertaker returning for SmackDown,
Which will be this Tuesday.
900th episode.
The 900th, yes. And
My 900th birthday.
I know we discussed, we discussed 900th birthday. We discussed kind of what we thought Undertaker was going to do, because there's still no word on what he's going to do. We don't have to get into it again, but the thoughts were something to build into maybe a Cena thing.
The Cena thing is most logical for me.
Most likely.
Cena leaving. Undertaker, last time we saw him, he takes his gloves off after he killed Shane, leaves him in the ring, walks away. The last time we saw Cena,
Same
right,
with
in the wrestling ring,
if you don't count Total Bellas. Yeah.
which was before, technically, so timeline speaking, he takes his arm band thing off, the hustle, loyalty, respect, leaves it in the ring.
After he lost to AJ Styles.
Yeah. That makes sense. The only other possibility that I really see is if he does a run-in with the Lesnar Goldberg somewhere, which more and more I think about it, the more highly unlikely that is.
And
I think the Cena thing makes too much sense.
Here again, I don't know if either of those things will happen just yet. I think this is Undertaker just showing up strictly for the show.
Letting people know that he still exists.
If the Lesnar Goldberg thing happens, that's not going to be SmackDown. That's going to happen at Survivor Series.
For sure.
Yeah. But a lot of people think, and this is what among the top 3 rumors that are our speculation, is that he might be involved somehow with Kane and Wyatt's and Randy and all that stuff. But that would just be not to lead to anything, just a one-off, because it's Undertaker's back and he's still Undertaker.
Very reminiscent to what they did to the Raw 1000 episode.
Yes.
What if to make me really care about Survivor Series, because I don't care about that Lesnar match at all, honestly. I mean, I'll be excited to watch it when it happens. But what if he comes in and he says, Shane, you put yourself into this Survivor Series match, but I beat you. I'm going to be in this match. What if that happened?
That'd be huge, but
Right? I'd be like, Survivor Series is the best pay-per-view of 2016.
Yeah. Well, it was 1 year ago that they were doing the big thing.
25 years.
Yeah. So it almost makes sense for him to come around this time of year. I think it's going to be something that feels like just a one-off, like the Raw 1000.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up at Survivor Series. That's where he gets involved in some type of storyline.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a WrestleMania one.
Like I said last week, I think the best thing that Undertaker could do is they were talking about, yeah, we're going to have a good Survivor Series. Here's the next match coming up. You know, the Divas are coming out here real soon. And then the lights go out, and you hear a bong, and the lights come back up, and Taker's in the ring in full gear. And he just looks at the camera, the TV camera, and just...
Yeah.
and then bong, gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. And that's it.
I wouldn't be surprised by that either.
No reasoning why he's there. No reasoning why he left. Just
Yeah.
It would be better if they would have announced that he's going to be there.
Yeah.
If that would have happened without the announcement, Jesus, Undertaker's back. He's gone.
Well, we've seen that before, so it wouldn't be surprising. Speaking of returns, what do you think Edge, who was also going to be there, what do you think's going to happen with Edge?
Cutting Edge.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Who's his guest again?
I don't know.
He's got a bunch of returns, I think, people coming to talk to him, but I don't remember.
I was thinking
Seth Rollins can't kill him.
Yeah, I thought Shane was his guest. Is what I thought was happening.
Might be.
Maybe I made that up.
I don't know. I have no idea who his guest is. Cutting Edge will be there. We know that.
It'd be a good episode. I think this is going to be a great episode, not to be missed.
Their anniversary episodes are not miss.
Yeah.
And I think they got a lot to make up for with last week being the, understandably so, lowest SmackDown of the year, going up against the election.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about there, too. There was a bullying issue from what you said. Enlighten me in this bullying issue.
I see the segue there.
Yeah.
That's for the smart Nerd Buffet fans. So
Foreshadowing.
So Sin Cara gets into another little scrap, what they call a backstage real life scrap. This happened on a tour bus.
Yeah.
Over the summer, I don't remember if we shared it on here or not. I think it was briefly mentioned. He got into a little backstage catering, which always makes me laugh, fight with Simon Gotch of the Vaudevillains.
We did talk about that because it was funny how Sin Cara wasn't punished, but Gotch was suspended.
Yes, yeah, and from the sound of it, Sin Cara was the one who starts stuff because that's apparently what he does.
He just doesn't do anything good.
I don't know why
He's legitimately tough, though, from what I understand.
Yeah,
Like,
people
anytime
say
he
he's
gets
pretty-
in a fight,
he wins.
he wins the fight.
And I don't know why he has enough pull or stroke in WWE to not get in trouble. When who we're actually talking about is not even the original Sin Cara. It's Hunico. I always say it wrong. Yeah, and then that's great that he took on that character and made
He's
it
so
work,
good
you
at
know?
being Sin Cara that the real Sin Cara can't be Sin Cara anymore.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, he was Hunico was Mystico before he came to WWE.
They've both been Mystico.
And then when the first Sin Cara quit, he was Mystico.
They have like a career of copying each other, and yeah. But anyway, this Sin Cara, the story is, as I've read on several different sites, they're on the tour bus. They're over in Europe.
Yeah.
So they all get on a bus together instead of traveling how they normally do in the States, such as we see on that ridiculous show on the network. So they're all on a bus, and Sin Cara's making obnoxious sounds to the point where he's pissing people off. You think back in high school when you're on a field trip and you have that kid in the back of the bus that's making noises, pissing everybody off, and everyone's like, shut the hell up.
This after the show.
This was just as traveling from one show to another, so I'm not for sure.
When I can understand, because in football, after a match, or after a game,
Yep.
and you're exhausted,
It's always
and
that
it's,
one
and it's a
kid.
long ride home, and someone's being annoying.
There's always that
And
guy.
you've had the match, especially if you lost the match.
Yeah.
Or I keep saying match wrestling.
Wrestling. You lost the game.
Even if you lost the game
Yeah.
and someone's being annoying, you're like mad at
Even
them.
if you won and you're tired and it's a
Yeah.
long trip, you still have that kid. This was Sin Cara. So Jericho, another person familiar with backstage issues recently of getting in little altercations, he finally takes upon himself to get in Sin Cara's face and be like, hey, I'm Jericho. I'm the locker room leader.
Yeah.
People are sick of your shit. So if you don't shut the hell up, I'm going to hit you in the face. To which Sin Cara decks him and knocks him out. I guess he has a pretty good shiner from what they were saying.
Yeah.
And took him down. They were separated before it could continue on.
Needless to say, he's on the list.
He's on the list. Not only is Sin Cara on the list, but his 2 punishments. The first one makes perfect sense to me. He has to take anger management courses. I like that. Instead of just canning the guy, apparently he has enough stroke for whatever reason that he doesn't get in that much trouble. Hey, at least they're doing something. Anger management makes sense. He's been in 2 fights, if not more, that we don't know
2
about.
altercations.
Yeah,
Jericho's been in more.
2 very public. See, but Jericho's
Usually he's in the right. Though.
Jericho's usually the one defending the rest of the locker room.
Yeah.
That's why he ever does anything. And Jericho has enough stroke to where he should be able to get away with it versus Sin Cara, who's only been... He's been... Hunico's been there a while, but not as long as Jericho. He's not Jericho. To be fair, maybe it's not fair in some senses. But anyway,
no, it's fair. I mean, Jericho's the type of guy that can just leave and then come back to the main event.
Oh, yeah.
With another character.
He's paid his dues, and he's still trying to defend the locker room. That's pretty cool. There's so many guys that have been in his shoes that are like, I don't really care. A lot of these guys probably wouldn't even be on the bus.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the other punishment, this is one that I'm really hoping one of you guys can make sense of. They're like, we're going to kick you to SmackDown. That's his punishment.
Well, if it's something to where they're not going to get along, I mean, I guess you got to have some sort of control backstage. But I've been hearing, okay, my reasoning again, put them on different shows, they don't have to see each other. Okay?
Well, he goes to SmackDown where he is back with the guy he got in a fight with before. Gotch.
Well, maybe things are better there. I don't know. But I've also, there's also a big rumor that at Survivor Series, the Intercontinental title goes over to Raw, and that whole division, the Cruiserweight division, goes to SmackDown.
You really think they're gonna switch them?
I don't know.
I don't think
that was going to be my reasoning to you. Why they would want to put Sin Cara over there. Let's get him over there now is a good excuse, and then we can get the rest of the Cruiserweight division.
I don't think there's...
Or maybe that part of the punishment is getting him away from the Cruiserweight division.
Could let him die off.
Yeah.
I mean, in a sense...
It's like, hey, you can't get a title over here now. Like, you're not on a show where you're in a title.
Well, that was my only thing I could rationalize in my mind was like, SmackDown's so... We talked about how they're overstuffed as it is.
Yeah.
So now it's basically like, hey, you are going to be second string to Jack Swagger,
Oh, God.
I mean, Jack Swagger's
son.
Yeah, like you were making weekly appearances, doing the Cruiserweight thing and being a good Sin Cara and helping them out.
Yeah.
But now you're a bad Sin Cara and you're going to be on SmackDown where you're not going to be seen except for to be Callisto's lackey
again.
Sin Cara. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. I really hope the Cruiserweights do not go to SmackDown because I think Raw needs that half hour to 45 minutes a night.
I
and
love
SmackDown
seeing the Cruiserweights on Raw. The more
205 Live.
Yeah, the more and more I look into it, it seems like they're going to move him because that new show on the network, the 205 Live, which is supposed to be the Cruiserweight show. 205, the weight limit, of course.
Yeah.
But that's going to be on.
A week to figure that out, but
that's going to be on after SmackDown. Right?
That would make
on
sense
the network
with the commentators, I guess. Also.
So there's a lot of speculation. It'll be interesting to see how SummerSlam, Survivor Series.
Yeah, but then that would be weird having Raw with 2 secondary titles, but whatever.
So Survivor Series, of course, the big match of the night is the there's like 3 Survivor Series matches,
There's a lot of big matches.
Weird.
Which is cool. I've said that how many times in a row? How many years in a row? Why don't they make the Survivor Series match like not just a freaking sideshow of the thing? And then the year that I said it, and I was like pissed about it. It was like 2 years in a row I said it. That's when they actually did it with the whole Sting reveal and the Ziggler thing. I was like, see, they did it, and it was perfect. It was it was one of the best matches of the year. Why can't they do it more often?
Yeah.
And maybe it looks like they're trying to do it this time.
Hopefully.
I don't think it has quite as much weight. Going back to it, it did have weight, but then it didn't because they all got hired again anyways.
Yeah. Well, I think this is pretty good weight, and what I'm most excited about is I don't think, and maybe this is just me, but I don't think it's predictable. I don't know who's going to win.
Yeah,
you got your top 5 guys on Raw and your top 5 guys on SmackDown, and I feel like and I know we'll do picks next week, but I feel like I have an easier time picking the other SmackDown vs. Raw matches, like the tag and the women's. I'm kind of like, okay, if I really think about it, I can pick somebody,
but not this, not
but
the
not
main
no.
event.
That'll be, and that's I really
Oh,
like
not,
that.
I think that's not the main event, but
The main event will be Lesnar
Yeah.
and Goldberg by some grace of God.
I don't know.
I don't know about grace of God, but something.
We don't have it on our list, but I can let you guys know in case you didn't that I watched TNA again this week, and it's still on.
It's still there. How was that?
At least through the end of the
It's
year.
good right now. Kind of a quick update for you guys. Matt Hardy doesn't know anything about broken Matt Hardy. Like
His amnesia.
he's back. Yeah, amnesia again, and he's
That's
like
kind of sad.
like. Well, it's still the same thing. Like
So now it's
Jeff comes into the house and him and Senor Benjamin are working on like Christmas stuff, and and he's like, oh hi Jeff, how you doing? And he's like, wait, what? And he's like, you don't know who I am? He's like, yeah, you're my brother, right? And he's like, what's my name? He's like, Jeff. And he's like, this doesn't ring a bell to you? And he like turns around and he's like, Brother Nero, I knew you. Like Jeff says it. No, what do you? Who's Brother Nero? So I don't know where they're going with it, but it's definitely still it's at least nice since I have the channel to watch that part. I've found myself now just fast forwarding and like if I don't like the people on that are wrestling, I fast forward through it. So that leaves Aaron Rex that I'll watch. And the Hardys. The title picture's a little more interesting now. Now that
Eddie Edwards.
yeah, it's Eddie Edwards. I like watching him too. Cause
Had your back on that one.
Yeah, he can wrestle.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, he's good.
so that's good. He's not great on the mic, but he can wrestle.
Yeah, that's interesting because I wonder how they're gonna go to the what is it, total nonstop deletion night or whatever.
I have no clue, man.
So if you get to do a little like TNA preview, when do I get to do a Lucha Underground like thing?
Man, anytime you
Yeah,
want
whenever there's anything of note to talk about.
We will start that next time.
Okay.
Beware, I hunger.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
A very kind of under the radar stuff that's happened. There's an international trailer released for Japan for Star Wars Rogue One, a Star Wars story, or Star Wars story, as it's called in Japan.
Star Wars. Or Rogue One.
Yeah, that's what it should be. But it's a lot of stuff we've already seen. But there are two things I wanted to talk about real quick here at the end that were of note. The first thing you see, who I would assume is what's the girl's name? Jen Oslo. You see her.
That's not her name
I don't
at
know.
all.
I don't know what it is.
Jen Old Slow.
Old slow. Anyway, I'll know it when I see the movie, and I'll everything about it. But but anyway, you see her mother, who we haven't seen in any of the trailers on our side, who I'd assume is her mother, gives her a necklace, and on the end of the necklace is a crystal, and she says something about the Force. You know, the Force watches over you, or something like that. Mm-hmm. So there is some Jedi connection with Jin.
She says always trust in the Force, I think.
Yeah. Either through her mother or through her father. Because we've seen her father gets taken either involuntarily or voluntarily. He gets taken. So we don't know where this crystal comes from or what it takes place in. Another thing that may or may not be connected is we see the Death Star doing what I would assume is test firing its weapons against the planet, doing massive damage but not destroying the planet. Mm-hmm. So, some interesting stuff going on.
Some sort of relationship to what the creation of the lightsaber and the creation of the beam for the.
I think so. I think that the small crystal that she has around her neck may be a part of the bigger crystal.
Yeah.
And it may even be the key to unlock the full operation of the Death Star.
Oh my God, that'd be crazy.
Like she goes there trying to find her dad, but inadvertently delivers the final piece.
That'd be the perfect way for the Emperor to just do one big last middle finger to the Jedis before wiping them all out.
Yeah, that's my theory. Completely
when I
spitballing. I have no idea.
When I first saw the thing, I was like, whose lightsaber is that going to end up being?
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be the lightsaber that Luke reconstructs, and ends up being the freaking now the lightsaber that's in the new movies that we're watching?
Yeah.
Because I mean that lightsaber played a huge role.
The
in that
lightsaber
movie.
we see in the new movies is Anakin's,
Right.
not the one Luke.
I thought
fixed.
Luke remade it.
Luke makes a new one because he loses that one when he loses his hand.
Yeah.
And he
But I'm saying the crystal, is that the one that he makes? Is that what he uses to make the new one?
to make the green one.
It could be.
Yeah.
But it's not the same one in Force Awakens.
Okay.
Because that's the blue one.
She did find Anakin's. That's right. Somebody found it. I forgot all about that. So that theory's dead. But
Luke,
that makes more sense what you said at the beginning with it being the weapon to create the Death Star, and that makes me excited.
because this movie is the Death Star movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's supposed to not have any Jedi in it, and I think that may
It's
have
a
been,
war movie.
Yeah,
Again.
I think
Well, 'cause they're
I think that may have been Disney kind of throwing us for a loop because I think there are a few Jedi in hiding in this movie.
Well, yeah, there are tons of references to Jedi just in the trailer. I mean, not just her dad and I guess he's now a Sith, if you want to call it that, but Vader. But there's the giant statue that's fallen that's of a Jedi.
Yep. Well, and Obi-Wan and Yoda would still be alive at this point.
Yep.
Right, but
So,
probably
they're in
not
hiding.
gonna be
Probably
in the
not
movie.
in it.
Maybe you see Obi-Wan in the closing segment of the movie. That's kind of too reminiscent to Episode 3, but Episode 3 has one of the best endings of all of the movies. I think it's just that you see the New Hope finally arrive where it's going to be.
Out of the two of them, I could almost see Yoda somehow in there before, just because it'd be easier to do because the other guy's dead.
It could be. I really hope to be surprised when I go.
Ewan McGregor's alive.
Yeah,
He's alive. That would work.
I'd love to see a spin-off. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen with.
Yeah, I
with
would love to
but-
see an Ian McGregor solo Obi-Wan movie. But what
'Cause this
did
opens
he
up-
do besides hide
Yeah, he didn't.
after
He
the
could
Clone
have
Wars?
done more. I mean, there could have been this whole information trail to lead Vader to where Luke was, and he has to cover it all up. I mean, that's
Obi-Wan had a
just
daughter,
something. Yeah.
and then Luke and her got together, and that's Rey's mom and dad. Luke and Obi-Wan's daughter.
Could be.
That's what I really think, that Rey is Obi-Wan's granddaughter. And if it turns out to be also Luke's daughter, so she would have that lineage.
She'd have just the best. That makes sense that she's just the best
Yeah.
Jedi ever.
Yeah. That's getting completely off topic
Yeah,
from Rogue One.
we're getting really excited here
Yeah.
talking about it, though. So you know, we're gonna leave you with that, just your own speculation. Was there something else though about the trailer? You said there's two things in the trailer.
The Death
crystal?
Star and the crystal.
Okay,
So those are the two new things we saw. We saw a little bit more footage of Vader. Just a tiny,
just like
So he's gonna be-
if that.
just a tiny glimpse of him turning around with his hand like this.
I think that.
So I don't know.
Vader face.
I don't know if that's a confrontation, personal one-on-one with Jen at that
I
point,
don't know, but that'd be cool.
or what.
I think that to me confirms he's going to be in it a lot more than people probably
Yeah, I think so too. I mean,
speculated.
I think the perfect amount to put him in the movie is if you guys saw Terminator Salvation, they do a CGI Arnold in that movie, and he attacks John Connor, and there's like a 30-second fight scene with them.
I honestly
If you
think
had something like that of just like this scary freaking Darth Vader that comes in and just annihilates.
that would be good. I honestly think he'll be in it more than that.
I do.
He is
but
Space Hitler. So if you think of any World War II movie you've seen that talks about Hitler or has Hitler in it, as much as Hitler's in those movies,
Yeah.
Valkyrie.
he'll be Vader.
Yeah,
Will be in
yeah,
there.
you've got a point there. But I think let's just leave you with that. Check out that trailer and comment with us. That's what we want to talk about this week is Star Wars, because it's getting closer and closer. Next week we're going to be talking about presents and how you're a piece of crap if you don't mind the best presents for the people you love. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's not the reason for the season.
Well,
yes, Jesus is the reason for the season.
I really like this Star Wars Christmas thing because it makes me look forward to Christmas more.
Well, Christmas is already the best time of year, and now Star Wars happens
just
with
1,000 times better.
So it's just, I don't know, it's Christmas. Like, thank God.
Star Wars!
Nothing but Star Wars! All right, this is going to stay here. Not really. Go ahead and sign them out, guys. And
all right, you've been watching Nerd Buffet, and I'm Tommy.
I'm Seth.
I'm Jake, and if you watch Nerd Buffet, hot women will come to your home and have sex with you.